Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to be with you today. We are going to begin digging in on what to be looking for with the Raiders moving forward. And the way we're going to look at that is, I've made it clear if it were me, I would just sit Max down. And not because I think Max's injuries are so severe that he can't play. It would be just simply to avoid the wear in the tires. He only knows how to play one way, and I let him heal. He's been injured each of the last 3 years. Just let him heal, get healthy. I know that's not going to happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying that's what I would do. But what are you going to look for from the Raiders moving forward? I think this is really, really important because they're not, all right, are they mathematically eliminated from the playoffs? Absolutely not. Okay. That's 100% factual. Are they going to the playoffs? No. I've told you all along I didn't think that they were a playoff team. And I hate to be the death angel, but the hardest part of the schedule is upcoming. I mean, they just finished the easiest part of the schedule. Jacksonville looks like a team with a real good shot at the postseason. Not a lock, but a good shot. And that's one of their easiest games they have left. So, anyways, that's what I would do there. But what is it? If you know that your motto is just win, baby, then they've got to find, okay, where can we win? And if we're not a playoff team, then they can win by dedicating the rest of the year to improving, to avoiding landfalls, to avoid things that could hurt them in the future, to avoid things that could, take some shots, give some guys some reps. I talked yesterday about Charles Grant. But here is the big deal. They're going to pretty much be healthy. Pretty much be healthy. Expect Max back, expect Adam Butler back. And very anticipatory and expect Brock Bowers to be back. Barring some setbacks or somebody getting injured this week, expect them to be healthy. So this is a big situation, kind of like New England at the beginning of the year. Do you remember I told you when they played New England? I think they're going to go on the road and beat New England. But if they played this game in November, I don't think they would. And I said that for a myriad of reasons. Josh's offensive system is difficult with a young quarterback. He's going to have to learn the system. There's a lot of different reasons. But I also said the biggest one is I don't think the Raiders are deep and they're going to be healthy the first week. They're going to be healthy, and Jacksonville is there to be beaten. But the Raiders have to come out and look better. They have to come out and look like, okay, we use the bye week to improve. Okay, we've got our ground game going now. We finally got the offense rowing in the same direction. We finally look like a Pete Carroll team. These are things, and when I say we, I'm using their voice. I'm not a fan. I don't claim to be, but I'm speaking from this is things. If you're sitting there as Raider Nation and you're frustrated, and you are, and should be, and you're sitting there with your pen and paper, and you're like, okay, what am I looking for? You're always going to want to win, and there's nobody on the schedule they can't beat. But there's nobody on the schedule they can't lose to either. So what are you looking for? And specifically this week at Jacktown, going against Jacksonville, they've got to look improved. They have to look better. They have to look like a team that is asserting themselves, that took a bye week and didn't just get healthy. The coaching game plan can't look like it was constructed with a Crayola marker on the back of some construction paper offensively. It's got to be congruent. It's got to be, it's got to make sense. You have to look and rather than like, huh. Many of you are not old enough, but for those of us that are old enough, there was a comedian named Arsenio Hall that used to have a late night show back when late night used to be funny. And you would tune in and it was never about politics. It was about funny stuff. I mean, it would be politics, but they would make fun of everybody. It was a time really that united America. And Arsenio Hall had a great show. He was such a good show. And I love that show. And he would go, things that make you go, hmm. And it was funny. And Arsenio was just a great comedian, terrific comedian. And you want to be able to watch the Raiders offense and go, in a good way, not what are they doing? Okay. You got a young offensive line going against probably a Hall of Fame defensive lineman against a young lineman who's blowing it up. Maybe we should get some help blocking for our number 6 overall. Maybe we shouldn't run our number 6 overall running back out of the gun, out of the pistol. Maybe we should put our quarterback under center where he's been the most effective in the play action pass. You just want it to look like, I mean, don't bring Pete in and then not do what Pete does. It's like you don't go to a Pizza Hut looking for tacos. You go to a Juan's Flaming Fajitas or you go to a Papacitos looking for that. You know, you don't go to a Papacitos Mexican cantina looking for some great Japanese sushi and fried rice. It's not what you do. And hey, if Pete says no, I want to change, why'd you go get Geno? Now I'm gonna tell you something. This is what concerns me. And I had a conversation with an NFL person about this. They wanted Matthew Stafford. And Matthew would have been a great choice. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, in my opinion, and a Hall of Fame human being. But they wouldn't be running the offense we see today with if Matthew was here. So you go get Geno, who's an under center, play action pass guy, and with a cannon of an arm. And what's the disconnect? So you're looking for the offense to make sense. You've seen this defense when they were given time, their ability when they weren't having to be on the field. 3 and out, back comes the defense. Up, interception. Here comes the defense to start with the offense starting their series on their side of the field. Has the defense been great this year? No. That's not the reason they're sitting here at 2-5. And I don't want to hear, well, football's a team sport. No, it is. But you literally just put up minuscule points. I don't want to hear it. I yeah, I don't want to hear it. Just don't want to hear it. I put something on the field that is reflective of a $6 million a year offensive coordinator, the highest paid offensive coordinator with the number 6 pick overall and the quarterback that you guys wanted with a generational tight end who's going to be back healthy. Jacksonville's a pretty good team. They're not great. They're not elite. I don't think they're as good as the Commanders. I don't think they're as good as the Chiefs. I don't think they're as good as the Colts. I don't think they're as good as the Bolts. I think they're like the Patriots. That's similar. I think both teams right now are kind of playing at a similar level. And you beat the Patriots when you were healthy on the road. You've got this game at home. Raiders should win this game. You say, well, it only gets them to 3-5. Yep, and it hurts their draft position. But right now, it's trying to get because then you turn around and bam, you go back. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're up to Denver. You actually leave Wednesday and head to Denver for what's going to be a very difficult game. Sean Payton, great coach. No doubt about it. I don't think Bo Nix is first of all, I think Bo Nix is a great human being that as a father, you would love him to date your daughter and not because of football. Just off the field, Bo Nix is a great kid. I think he's a very good quarterback in his skill set. Sean Payton has done, and I said this after last year, deserved Coach of the Year honors only behind Andy Reid for what he did with Bo Nix. It was a phenomenal coaching performance. He literally only asked Bo to do what Bo could do. Is it too much to ask that of Chip? Chip told us at his very first press conference, because I lauded him all off season for it. Yeah, my system reflects my players. Okay, it's great. It's what I want to see. So I think this game is going to tell us a lot, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's going to tell us exactly what the coaches did in the bye week to get better. You coach a little bit, but you let your players go off, have a few days, get healthy, get whole. You do some coaching, on Monday and Tuesday, a little bit on Wednesday, but then you let them get away and get some time. But this is where Pete has to demonstrate he sat down and got everybody on the same page. Everybody. And I'm going to withhold my judgment until what I see from the Raiders. I thought Chip in weeks 2 and 4, I thought the Raiders had pretty solid game plans. Maybe it wasn't week 4, but I've seen some good game plans. I thought week 1 was a really good game plan. I thought week 2 was a good game plan for sure. And week 3 at Washington, I thought was a really good game plan. I don't think the Chips game planning cost them that game. I think it was Geno. But my point to you is, so if I want to see where is the creativity we saw from Chip in the offseason. If the offense looks the way it's looked the last few weeks, I'm going to have some pretty strong opinions. So, which nobody there cares what I think, and they shouldn't, by the way. But we're going to learn a lot about this coaching staff on Sunday against Jacksonville. And then I want to watch the quick turnaround to go up to Denver. I expect them to lose at Denver. Denver is a better football team right now than the Raiders. Could they win it? Absolutely, they could. Absolutely, they could. If the Geno of week 1 with a developed run game, and let me tell you, Denver's got a better defense, I think, than New England. And so if you're able to have balance, which they didn't have week one at New England, I think the Raiders could go up there and win. Still expect a loss. I'm not predicting a win, but it wouldn't shock me in the least bit. And but if the Raiders come out and they're flat, which with a healthy Brock Bowers, I find that very difficult. Brock's going to open stuff up for Jacoby. I don't have huge expectations of Tyler, and it has nothing to do with thinking he's a bad player, but he just got here. So I'm temperate in any new player showing up. Thomas Booker was a unicorn. But I expect them to come out and to me, the game on Sunday is a referendum on how this staff handled the bye week. And I'll get into more of that after the game. But you get all of a sudden you get a little momentum, you feel good, you go bam, you go right up to Denver. And nothing better after a bad game or a good game than to play again right away. And now all of a sudden, if you get an upset at Denver, now you're sitting there and you're thinking, wow, we're 4-5. One game out of 500. There's a real good chance here to do something with the meat of the schedule coming up. So to me, this is a referendum. And now I'm going to say this because I'm not going to say things off camera that I won't say on. I'm a believer in Pete Carroll. I will be holistically disappointed, and not because I'm a Raider fan, if Pete Carroll fails. Because I really believe in him. I think he's a really good coach. And I think this was an opportunity for him this bye week to get this entire staff and everybody else back on the right track, on the same page. Just take care of your business and get it handled. Get it fixed. Listen, Raiders come out and beat Jacksonville, which I think they're going to. I think they will. And I do expect them to lose at Denver, although, again, a win would not shock me. I do expect them to lose at Denver because that's a better team. And it's on the road. 5 days or, 5 days after a game. However, and that's a big however, but however, all of a sudden now you go up there and you play that one close and got a shot. Now all of a sudden Raider Nation perks up a little bit and says, all right, looks like our staff is getting it together. You're giving them future. You're giving them something to believe in. I've said this now twice. I said it when the Raiders came home for the first game, and I talked about it in their last game. The Raiders have to win back their fan base. There's a meme I sent to Shannon one time, and it's an old man, and it's pouring rain, and he's holding an umbrella over his wife. They're sitting on a park bench, and he's getting drenched, but he's holding it, and it said, even when they're fighting, this is what a couple in love looks like. And they're sitting on the park bench and they're not next to each other, and the husband's getting drenched, but he's holding the umbrella over his wife because even though they're mad, it's still his honey, still his sweetie, like Shannon is for me. And we weren't fighting. I just sent it to her because I thought it was sweet. Here's where I'm going with this. Raider Nation is telling the Raiders, you know what? We're in a bad relationship. We still love you, but we just feel like we've been let down so many times. Raider Nation is begging this franchise to get their loyalty back. They're begging for it. They're desperate for it. Sunday is a referendum on the coaching staff. And the fan base is begging. Remind us why we fell in love with you. It's a golden opportunity.